Okay, I'm going to switch the subject on you here. So I want to talk about the mechanics here, and I'm going to ask you something. Do you practice fasting?
I I pack I practice fasting not as an ongoing discipline.
Okay.
There have been seasons when I did, and I just don't happen to be doing it now in an ongoing. By well, let me just tell you what I've done. Uh, I went through a long season where I fasted from the noon meal on Thursday till noon on Friday. And that was kind of a Methodist
Oh, very.
pattern with Wesley
Yes.
and
He
the
would make
early
you fast
Methodists.
twice a week.
And
Yes.
when I was intimately involved with the world evangelism, we had a program, a worldwide program, emphasizing that discipline of fasting, and we had thousands of people all over the world that were fasting in that pattern. In fact, that pattern is being used in world Methodism right now,
Yep.
fasting after the lunch meal on Thursday until the lunch meal on Friday. The way I practice fasting now, and I'm not saying don't fast in a regular way. I'm not saying that at all, but I find it for me very vital uh, for fasting to be oh, I don't know what to call it, to really be definite. And
Okay.
so I connect now, David, I connect fasting with particular times in my life in terms of what's going on in my life and the issues that I'm facing, because I really see it. And I don't know how good this is, but I really see it as a part of connected, very intimately connected with my prayer life.
Yes. That's why I'm
When
asking.
when there's an issue that I really, really am committed to serious intercession, I find fasting uh, to really be a twin discipline to praying, to intercession.
Yes.
Uh,
It enhances it,
so I
of course.
practice it in that way, and the way I practice it is the same way. Like from noon one day until noon the next day,
Yep.
and more often than not, it still has that pattern of Thursday to Friday.
Well, that's very, yeah, you're right. Wesley used to require his Methodist lay preachers to fast twice a week, or
Yeah,
else they weren't allowed to be a Methodist lay preacher. So, in the mind of Wesley, in the mind of Jesus, like we should go back to the scripture. In the mind of Jesus, fasting was a method to ramp up your spiritual authority, to clear your thinking, and to
right.
be serious about the matter about which you're interceding before the Lord about. And he actually said, he started his ministry with a 40-day fast. That's how he began. And my hunch is he was fasting on the Mount of Transfiguration when he came down and cast out the unclean spirit from the demonized boy in Mark chapter 9, when the apostles could not. And he said to them, "This kind does not come out except by prayer and
Yeah,
fasting."
yeah, because it had been a show thing.
Yeah, well, there you go. So this is I do believe in this practice. I've not taught much on this, but I knew that you're a Methodist and I knew it was part of the tradition. And I studied Methodism at great length when I was in theological seminary, and it was very clear that the power of the Methodist revival was the small group prayer meeting, 5 or 6 people, having groaning intercessory prayer times, the monthly meeting in the meeting house, and this discipline of Methodist preachers to fast and pray while they learned as they rode on their horses, going from one location to another. Now the era has changed. We drive cars now. We don't ride horses. So you have to stay focused on the road instead of reading your book, but because
Yeah,
the horse,
yeah,
the car does
yeah.
not drive itself.